Good morning, guys. Welcome to TMX Adventures. Lisa here. So today I'm going to bring you a recipe from this book. I was generously gifted this book in Sydney by Vorwerk, who have taken over Thermomix in Australia, and it is a stunning book. Now, I am not a book person. You know this. You've seen me try and cook from cookbooks over the years and stuff it up immensely because, generally speaking, my brain and the page are in two different spaces and I get something wrong. Remember the cake recently from Cook the Cover where I forgot to put the curd in the ice cream? You know what I mean. So generally I'm not a cookbook person, and I really appreciate guided recipes. Like, to the point that I will put a recipe in, I will take the 5 minutes to enter a recipe so it is guided so that my brain doesn't have to do the work. Hang on a second, guys. I need to stop. I'm just going to pause the vacuum. There we go. Got a new RoboVac while I was away as well. The Thermomix one that I earned back in March or April arrived, which was super exciting. So it's cleaning the kids' bedroom as we speak. Hello, Linda. Lovely to see you. So, yes, I need guided recipes in my life. What I've also noticed over time is those who don't embrace guided recipes, those who don't use them, don't tend to use their Thermomix as much. So it's really something that, get into Cookidoo. This holiday season, as you've got some time to hopefully put your feet up and enjoy, take some time to browse it, start planning it out. Take a bit of time to get into a habit of using it. And it is only a habit, okay? Every time you reach for a saucepan, can I challenge you to think of Lisa and go, can I do this in a Thermomix? Okay, so on game on this holiday season as we try and kind of make our life easier, but sometimes it requires changing old ways of thinking, which, let's be real, life gets crazy, we go back to the old way, even though it's harder, longer, more time in the kitchen, right? That's just life. But anyway, this book has caught my eye, not because I got it for free, actually because of the way they've presented it. It's the history of the Thermomix from the 1950s all the way through to what it is now, with beautiful recipes from all around the world, and it tells a story. Okay, I'm not going to give away too much of it, but it is beautiful, and it is done, look at that, the 70s. Who would have thought we didn't have the orange Thermomixes in Australia? We started with the pellet of TM21s, and so we didn't get those. They were the 70s. We picked up Thermomixes, in the 1999, Grace brought back the pellet of TM21s. And finally in 2021, I think they said, yep, go for it with the TM31. I've said the wrong number then. 1999, 2001, that's the word number I'm after. But yeah, a stunning book that just tells a story through the countries, the pages, and even like they've been really creative in some things. Look at this, croquettes. Now these are on Cookidoo. If you search for the collection, you've got to change your drop down heading. Wonder if I can show you that in a second. Maybe I can. So you can find these recipes, but I actually think what has got me to make these recipes, as much as I love the searchability of Cookidoo and that functionality, but what's got me cooking this recipe today is I saw it in the book. And I went, ooh, that looks delicious. Like, it's even got a plate. Look at this, a plate of carbonara in it. Like, it's just beautifully done. And I love the fact that it tells a story. The story is what has got me. So let me just come back. Like, look at this, the 80s. I had to tell my kids this morning about what a cassette tape was. But look at this. Like, these are the old school. The TM3000 in 1980. Shall I tell you I wasn't born yet? It's all right. When I was born, the TM3300 came out. So that's pretty cool. At that point in time, they didn't have the Varuma. They did not have the steaming capabilities. That didn't come until the TM21, I believe, which is pretty cool. So it tells a story. Pulled pork burgers, the kids have seen that this morning and like, hey, can we have that? But, even like, I love the stories within it, okay? The joy of cooking. And you know what? So many people tell me that when they get a Thermomix, something that was a chore, that had become a chore and a stress becomes a joy. How cool is that? So anyway, beautiful, beautiful recipes, beautiful stories, and simple recipes. That's the other thing. You guys know If it was a recipe that took up 3 or 4 pages in a book, which some of the original Thermomix recipes do and did, and they are on Cookidoo still, you just don't notice because it's step by step. And I love that these are just really simple. They're my style. So anyway, check that out on Cookidoo. In a moment when we're cooking, I might try and pull up Cookidoo for you and show you how to find that in the collection. So we're going to make today a beautiful sweet breakfast bread. It's in the book, okay? Inspired to make it because it's in the book. So start cooking. First thing we're doing is making a crumble. We just need to put some plain flour, which I'm using baker's flour because I never buy, unless it's gluten-free. And by the way, sorry, gluten-free friends, it's not gluten-free today, okay? And can you make it gluten-free? Yes, but not the same. Okay, it will not be the same if you try and swap this around. Your artisan loaf, which is, you guys know that I generally say, this is the crumble. I've doubled the amount. I'm going to take some out. The artisan loaf, you guys say, swap that in. It's not going to respond the same way to get a beautiful plait. I'd have to do some real rejigging to work out if I could make that work gluten-free. It's just so tacky. I'm not sure I could plait it. I'm not sure if I've got the patience to plait. Maybe it's plaitable. I'm not sure. Okay, 20 grams of sugar. So in that goes. Wow, I'm heavy-handed today. That nearly missed completely. It is so incredibly humid where I am today. There is rains coming through, but it's really, really hot. 25 grams of butter if you're cooking along at home. So in that goes. Oh, we're going for 30. All right. That's okay. All right, insert the measuring cup in the mixing bowl lid then. How good is guided cooking? 10 seconds, speed 4. And then we're going to put this aside. It says to put it in the fridge. I'm not going to, okay? Just because it's over there. I am going to come back on YouTube. You can see it kind of looks like you'd expect like an apple crumble to look. I am going to come back on YouTube this afternoon and you'll find it on the replay tonight and put these all together. I can't hang around on Facebook for 20 minutes, half an hour while this proves today. Place aside in the fridge. Yeah, you guys don't want me to twiddle my fingers and let the camera roll for the next 20 minutes, half an hour while this proves. So those of you who would like to know how to plait dough and make a beautiful plait and finish it off with the egg wash, you need to check the replay tonight, okay? All right, place 1 egg. What? 2 yolks. Okay, I need a whole egg. I cracked my yolks. I didn't read ahead. Okay, 1 egg. Thank you, chickens. So it's actually got... I thought I didn't read it right. All right, 1 egg. I'm onto it. 2 yolks. That's what I pre-done. Now tell me in the comments what I should use the whites for today. I've got 2 whites there. 100 grams of unsalted butter cut into pieces. If you've only got salted, feel free to use that. Just skip the salt out in the salt step soon, okay? You'll see shortly. I'm using my awesome knife from my kitchen toolkit. You need good knives. I don't know if this is available in the sale in the mix shop. Currently, we've got cyber sale kicked off or kicking off. And there's a lot of things discounted. If the kitchen toolkit's there, I would highly suggest it. These kitchen toolkits, I've got a couple. They have served me so well over time. I have had them in the caravan. I've got a set in the car. There's like an ice cream scoop in it. Actually, it's supposed to be a fruit scoop. It's not quite sturdy enough if you've got really solid ice cream. 50 grams of sugar and a couple of different knives, different style of knives. I remember when I first got it, because I got mine with my TM31 11 years ago. That was my gift with purchase 11 years ago, and I didn't even know that it was coming with that, and it was a kitchen tool kit. And this knife, I thought was a butter knife. So I cut my finger the first time I used it. Anyway, gift with purchase at the moment, cutter and bowl blade and lid set. So valued at, the cutter is $219, the bowl blade and lid is $395, so what, $600 something worth of value for free when you buy a Thermomix, only for the next about a week. It's not on for very long. Perfect for Christmas though, nothing better than making a pavlova and having a clean bowl to start with. And also that cutter is going to come in super handy. Hello Roz, lovely to see you on. You probably caught my video yesterday using the new spiralizer. It utilizes the cutter base and lid. It doesn't use the blade. You change out the blade and you use a different pusher on top. But yeah, awesome. Hey, so if you've got friends or family who've seen your Thermomix and maybe they've sparked a little bit of interest and gone, oh, what is that? Go to them. Hey, guess what? There's an amazing offer on for end of year. If you now's the time, get one in the kitchen now in time for Christmas so that it makes life easier. Here's my consultant's details. Okay. Okay, vanilla sugar. You guys know I don't have vanilla sugar. I've just got my homemade vanilla extract, essence. I don't know. It's made with cheap vodka, and it's been sitting here. I did this with you guys probably back in March. It's probably 9 months old. There is a little bit more up the top. I couldn't fit it all in one container. I'm going to add that instead. You can make vanilla sugar and vanilla beans. I tend to just soak mine like that, and then I'll turn those leftovers into a vanilla paste off Cookidoo with some fresh ones in it as well. Yeast. Okay, 2 teaspoons of dried instant yeast. Remember to keep this vessel in the freezer. It doesn't like temperature changes. It doesn't like sweating. Okay, it doesn't like it at all. It will die. Okay, so 150 grams of milk. I was going to say this could be dairy free and use almond or something, but you've got butter in it, so you kind of can't. It's gluten, it's dairy. Sorry, guys. Suppose you could try like Nutlex or something. I'm trying to not be too heavy-handed. There's nothing worse than an over sticky dough. And this is like a brioche dough. Really, that's what this is. It's got all those eggs in it, so it's more like a brioche, which is beautiful. You know, it's that luscious dough. Okay, next up. I'm ready. I'm done. Okay, let's do this. So 4 minutes, 37 degrees, reverse speed 2. I'm not sure why it needs to be reversed at this point in time. It's really just combining these ingredients together. So in a second, we are going to knead them, and that's the important part. I'll take this measuring cup off so you can have a look at what's kind of going on. It might just be really pulling it together. That butter, softening it, somewhat creaming it, maybe in this recipe. I'm not sure. But what I am going to do now is I'm actually going to pull up Cookidoo. Give me one moment because this is a bit impromptu. I wasn't actually organised. Is that surprising? Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to bring up my laptop screen. Okay. All right, Cookidoo. So if you want to find this recipe, first thing you want to do is just push the little searching button, the green one. Hopefully you can see this and hear me still. So we're not putting anything in the search bar, okay? We're going to go, you can see what the kids made for dinner last night. Yes, true story. The 8-year-old made festive camembert wreath for dinner. I buy the camembert and the brie when it's on sale, and I freeze it. And so we've always got a couple floating in the deep freezer. And yeah, that's what he wanted for dinner last night. We also had a whole lot of onion jam because we've had so many onions coming in from the garden. Some of you would have seen my onions the other day that came in. So we cooked them all up as onion jam straight off Cookidoo. And so we got jars and jars and jars of that. So we just used that instead of the sauce in it. And yeah, loved it. Okay, so we at the moment are searching via... I don't know if it's up the top of your screen for some reason, I'm not sure why, but we're searching with this little one that looks like an article, a newspaper article. We're going to grab the little arrow next to it and we're going to change it to collections. It is worth at times checking articles. Some really interesting stuff is in articles, so go collections. And now you can see this is currently in newest order. Okay, so newest things. Now I want this cookbook that's got then, now, and always. I'm just going to actually put the word now in and go search, and now actually get 3 books up. Now, I went for the one, and I'm going to guess these are different countries that have actually done similar, or they could even be in different languages. My son read this book when I got it home, and he said they've actually produced this in multiple languages. So this is possibly different languages, but I'm looking for the one that matches the cover, which has this on the top. So I can click on this. Don't worry about the other ones. They've just got the word now in them somehow. And this has now 50 recipes from Then, Now, Always 50th Anniversary Cookbook. Celebrate 50 years of Thermomix. Go on a culinary journey through time with us and enjoy this selection of 50 best Thermomix recipes from all over the world. If you want to save this so that it saves to the memory of your Thermomix, like adding a collection, you hit the save button. Okay, I'm just going to, as I normally would, search. But you've got all sorts of recipes from this book that are very yummy. And some that are looking similar to what we already are familiar with. Like we've seen this before because it's probably an Australian recipe. It's probably out of the Australian collection because they went via Australia in there. That looks yummy. Spanish. Got that carbonara I showed you before. Pizza. How good's the Havana? I think the Havana, guys, is on sale in the mix shop. I think it is. Check it out. Oh, look, this is a classic. New Zealand, I think when they travel in New Zealand, they talk about the family chicken galette. That's what I thought the 8-year-old wanted to make last night, but I was wrong. This is the one that they put for Australia, sticky sesame chicken. I was like, well, it's kind of Chinese, but that's okay. We'll claim it. It's yummy. It's the one I'll often make a double sauce on so that I've got leftovers for something else. I'm going to pronounce that wrong if I try to. The puggery? No, I can't do it. This is the one that my son said, can we have that for dinner? There's actually a shorter recipe. So when we get organised to do that, I'm not going to get him to actually do this recipe. I'm going to do the short one, which takes less than 45 minutes to make pulled pork. Actually, maybe it is this pulled pork portion of it. They've got 4 hours and 20 because of maybe they make the buns. I think they make the buns and the sauce and everything. So it might actually be this recipe. If you've never looked at this recipe, it's well worth your time. I think it might be this one. Let's have a look. No, it's slow cooked for 4 hours. It's not that one. Okay, let's go back. Sweet and sour pork ribs, yum. Meatloaf, salmon. This is where I was like, yum, you've got me there. Potato pancakes, asparagus potatoes with hollandaise. I'm actually curious to make these. I want to make an artisan loaf one day so it's gluten-free and make these dumplings with the beautiful tomato sauce. I think that would be amazing. Rye bread rolls, pork buns, pied, yum, manto buns. Here we go. It looks better in the cookbook, okay? Cheesecake, sponges, pavlovas, 3 milk cake sounds interesting. Quince tart, Portuguese style creme brulee, yum. So you can see there all those beautiful recipes. So let's go back to my Thermomix. Okay, how good do they look? So there you go. So if you want to cook these recipes, that's where you'll find them. Okay, we have melted that butter. It's come together like that. Now we need our 500 grams of plain flour. So grab my scoop. I was waiting on my organic order to come, so I've just got my standard white baker's flour. I'm going to show you what that is in a minute. What's that in there? Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. It is what I thought it was. Don't look, guys. You don't want to know what I just fished out. All right, back to this. Darn flies. Decided to jump in there with my food. That'll serve it. All right, 500 grams. Let's go. Nearly there. And then I'm going to show you this flour. Don't you hate that? That's the worst thing about summer is that we get these flies. I'm glad I saw it. That black, I was like, nothing black went in. I didn't drop a vanilla bean in. All right, 500 grams. There we go. Next, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then let's talk flour. Just guesstimating. Don't shortchange yourself on the salt. It won't taste right, even though this is a sweet. Okay, next. Okay, 3 minutes and let it knead, and let's talk flour. Okay. Supermarket flour, Woolworths, Coles, bottom shelf, $9 to $12. But you make, it's 500 grams, right? So I can get 10 loaves of bread out. So this is generally the brand that I have bought. There's another brand there as well. And yeah, make all your gluten-filled and not gluten-free, sorry, gluten-free friends, breads with it. Okay, now I usually use honest to goodness, and we've got a whole grain and a something else, stone ground, whole meal and a something else, which makes a bit more of a dense loaf, but I like that it's organic. So that's why. But when you run out and you're waiting for an order, that's what you use. Okay, makes beautiful pizzas and all those things. So next up, I need my thermomat. This is going to transfer out. They leave it in the bowl. We do not. So you've got to remember, this is from the Germans. It's translated to English. They don't have thermomats. They don't have thermostats. Poor them. Like, I can't survive without my Thermomats. So that our bowl doesn't get stickier and tackier, and dough does that tendency to get stickier over time, we're going to transfer this to a mat, because that mat is what we're going to work on later, okay? I don't know if you remember, but when I traveled in my caravan the second year, I accidentally left my mat at home, and I was devastated because the mat makes things so clean. Okay, it means you don't have a messy bench. The mess is contained to the mat, and then you just go shake it off. If it needs washing, it washes, but generally it's got nothing left on it and it's ready to go again. So if you haven't got a Thermomat, let's do a demo. There is a festive host reward on at the moment. I think the mats are still on it, and let's do that. The other thing I love on the new festive host rewards is actually the grazing box. You've seen me, I'm pointing because it lives on my shelf up there. You've seen me use my grazing box. They are used weekly at my house. I've got series on how to fill your grazing box because I love them that much. They are, I think you can buy them in the mix shop on sale at the moment too. But if you want to do a demo online with 2 friends, you can get grazing box, 2 grazing boxes and a festive cookbook for discounted or free. So well worth doing that if you want to get your hands on one this Christmas. And give it to somebody. Just grabbing my mat. This is an old mat. The new ones have the circles for rolling pastry. This is an old one. And the thing is, they last. I love that they've got that longevity to them. Okay, so those of you in Australia, book me up for an online demo. Okay, it can take as little as 35 minutes with you and 2 friends online. Or if you want to cook with me, cook along style, then it takes about an hour 15. Get your friends to your home. You're bound to take away hints and tips. We can make sure Cookidoo is set up well, and get you the host reward, which is cool as well. Lots of fun at this time of year. You know, when you're kind of a little sometimes time poor, so it's nice to be able to have that option to just jump online and get something and just watch along. Okay, Thermomat, I think we're at that point. Set aside in the bowl to proof for 30 minutes. The only time I would not use a Thermomat is if it's got a re-knead. Now I'm going to double check because you guys know I'm not organized at times. Okay, line paper and set aside. No, okay, so it doesn't re-knead. So the Portuguese loaf you see me make, amazing. It's like sourdough, but it's not sourdough. It doesn't have that timing of sourdough. My kids are really keen to do another sourdough starter at the moment too. Look at that. So brioche, you'll notice is a very yellow loaf because of the yolk. So it doesn't re-knead in the Thermomix, so I can take this out. Okay, let's spin you around for a second. Let's spin you around. See if you can watch the Thermomat. Are we there yet? Kind of. See my keyboard? There we go. All right, so upside down on the mat. The mat is clean. Just spin. You can't see. Can you see? Spin the little cog. I'll hold it up. Oh, it fell out. Spin the cog. It makes the food drop out, okay? Because it's releasing it from under those blades. Clockwise generally works better, but sometimes a wiggle also helps. All right, look at that. This is typical brioche looking loaf, okay? Beautiful bread rolls if you're looking for something, you know, if you've got people coming over for dinner and you want to do those pulled pork burgers, like the brioche is what you do. It's such a luscious loaf, I guess you could say. Now, if you've got leftover stuff to the blades, you can spin it for a couple of seconds on speed 10 or just grab one bit and use it like blue tack. Something to be mindful of is if you are a new Thermomix owner, your blades will be sharp for the first month or so. So please don't go in there and put your fingers against it and slice it. It's like having a new knife set, okay? Mine are well loved, well used. Now my Thermomix is 5 years old probably. So that's fine. Mine are well not sharp anymore, and they don't need sharpening, okay? It's the speed and the shape of the cuts. Don't sharpen them. Okay. Now I could use a dough clean to clean that, and I probably will. And it is on our cleaning functions. Now with this, you want to get it into one ball. At the moment, you can see it looks a bit like cauliflower, like it's got that texture. So I don't like playing with my food. You guys know that. So I use my mat. Okay. So glad I found that fly. That's terrible. Spin around. So I'm getting it into one beautiful clump. Now at the moment, I can't work with this. It's just why I will be coming back on YouTube and showing you how to work with this in about 20 minutes time. Because can you see how every time I do something, it relaxes out? Can you see how it's spreading? It's not really staying together. We need to let gluten relax. Okay, someone once said to me, it's like a stressed teenager. It needs time to relax. And when we come back later, we're going to cut this in two. I'm going to teach you how to plait it, and you'll see that it won't have that tenseness where it keeps retracting back. Okay, so we're going to cover it with the mat. And for those of you on Facebook, which I can't see, if anyone's there and said hello, let me have a quick look. Hello, Amy. Hey, Kelly. Lovely to see you guys today. For those of you in Facebook, I'm going to love you and leave you. If I can help you with your Thermomix, reach out. I love to hear from you. I love to support you. I love to help your friends get Thermomixes on benches as well. Great time to be getting one in time for Christmas. It'll be at their house in like 2 or 3 working days. It's just amazing. Those of you on YouTube, I'll see you in a second. We're going to shape this in about 20 minutes time. For you, it'll be fade in, fade out, and I'll see you soon. So remember to hit subscribe, remember to engage in some way, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye, Facebook friends. Okay, welcome back. Let's go on to working with this dough. It's been about half an hour. I had a few things I was doing, so I kind of let it go a bit longer. But straight away, we can see the texture's a bit different. It's actually quite, like, it looks like it's sweated a bit at a first glance. And if I touch it, it's certainly a different texture in that it kind of holds its indents just that little bit. The trick with dough is don't overwork it, okay? If you overwork it, it gets tough. So we need to divide this in two. We actually make 2 plaits with this. Maybe I'll do 1. No, I'll do 2. Okay, so we're going to divide the dough in 2 roughly. So I've got this bowl scraper from the mix shop. It does not cut the silicone mats. Something to remember with these silicone mats is you don't cut on them with a knife. They'll cut through, okay? So now I need to make about 3 even pieces. So you can kind of push the dough, so don't work it like a scone or anything like that. Well, actually, no, this is similar to a scone. Don't work it like biscuits. Work it like a scone. You're pushing it and stretching it, but you're not rolling and pressing and those sorts of things. So I'm just making it into kind of rectangular so that I can tell what I'm doing. One can go aside for the moment, okay, and the other one, we need to get 3 even pieces out of it. So see how it holds its form a little bit? That's what we're looking for. So I'm just trying to make it kind of even. You could weigh these. That's not my style. You guys know that. All right, so I reckon this middle one actually is a little bigger, but that's okay. So this is where we start shaping. So I am just rolling these between my hands to start with a bit of a donut. You can do a bit of this. Okay, can you see how I'm not trying to change the overall, I don't know, shape? Like I'm not plugging pieces together or anything like that. I'm not too worried about things like this because as this gets longer, it will do fine. Now the instructions say, place dough on a silicone bread mat or work surface and divide into 2 portions. Divide 1 portion into 3 equal parts and roll into a rope approximately 20 centimeters. Now, this bread mat has measurements on it. So I can see there, a little bit longer still. So we're not going for something hugely long, okay? Plaiting is a really nice way to make something ordinary look fantastic, okay? You can do it with your standard pizza loaf where it doesn't have, so if you need it to be dairy-free, just use your pizza dough recipe. And it takes something ordinary and makes it amazing, which, I mean, it's the Thermomix, right? Takes something ordinary and makes it amazing. However, bread is one of those things that people either have had success with and are confident or have not. Now, I do have a bread challenge. It was originally done as a challenge on my website. If it's something where you want to learn more about mastering bread and making amazing bread, okay, from kind of somebody who had no skills before a Thermomix. And you know, and I've also put together, I guess, all the hints and tips I've learned over the years from people because I've met so many people that have skills, whether that's as a consultant where we've had people into our head office. The other day we had Adam Lewin at the Sydney event teaching us all about using our spiralizer, but also he made a beautiful miso sauce, which I'm excited to get my hands on. So, you know, it's taking that knowledge, and that's part of, you know, the joy of being a consultant is you actually gain this info that I don't know that I would have ever learned otherwise. Okay, 3 lengths are approximately the same. They're not too different in size and width. You can see there's a bit impurities to it. It doesn't matter at this point. So we're going to plait them. If you've never plaited, that's okay. So go to the next one. It says, pinch the top of the 3 dough ropes together and then plait the dough. So we grab the tip. Let me just make sure you guys can see. Bring it in a little bit. Pinch it together, okay? And then Plait the dough and pinch the ends together. Place the plait on the prepared baking tray. So it's as simple as outside one over the center. Oh, it undid. That's okay. Let's pinch it a bit further. Other outside one. No, hang on. There we go. Outside one now to the center. Hang on, what have I done? I know how to plait. Freaking myself out. Okay, let's try again. Outside to the in between of the other two. That's better. Outside to the inside. There. Outside to the inside, you're always going to the middle, okay? I actually feel like these dough lengths should have been longer. They've said 20 centimeters, but I'm looking at their picture. Theirs looks a lot longer. I'm going to make it longer, okay? Just bear with me. I do this live so that you can learn, okay? And I learn at the same time. I've always done them longer, but it's at 20 centimeters. So I was like, okay, we'll do 20 centimeters. Stretching them out doesn't require them at this stage to prove, like it's not got tense. You can see this one's starting to retract just a whisker. It's telling me it doesn't like all this play. Okay, let's try again. It's quite I'm going to say oily dough, so it works beautifully and it doesn't have any trouble on your hands and sticking. Okay, so this one goes to the center. Oh, stay together. We'll deal with that in a minute. This one goes to the center. Okay. This one, you always work on an outside. This one goes to the center. This is looking better. Much longer. So at this point, I did the width of this, which must be about 35 centimeters. I'll tell you in a second. Now, when you get to the end here, now it says pinch together. I got a different tip. What I've always done is actually tucked it under. So I grab them and I roll them under. It just makes a really pretty end. And same with this one. I always undo it and just make sure it's plaited together nicely and then just tuck it under. Can you see how it took care of those ends? See that? All right, so I'll do it again with this one. Okay, divide it up into the 3 approximately evenly. Mainly so that you get 3 even plaits, but it is very forgiving. Dough is extremely forgiving. That's why I'm not worried about these marks on top, the little like indentations and stuff. When it comes out of that oven, it's amazing. Okay, so, and I also think sometimes we forget what real food looks like. Like we go to the shop and we buy a loaf of bread and they're all perfect and they're all the same shape and they're all, you know, and real food that's made with love from home, you know, with your family, it's not necessarily perfect, but it's made with love and it's amazing. So now you can see this one's got that end a bit funny. That's okay. Roll it out. I'm stretching it as I go. That's why the two-handed roll actually works better. Hope you can see. Yeah. And I guess as you're watching this video, who are you going to make it with? You're going to get your kids involved or your partner or husband, or are you going to get the grandkids? Like, who can you do this with? Is this something you could do over the festive season with loved ones around? You know, like they can plait this. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, if you're worried about a man handling it and making it tough, you can roll it out to the sausages. Although I reckon most kids you could give this to, it's like Play-Doh. And they can plait it together, okay? You could also do rolls with this. So something I've enjoyed doing over the years, and I used to do it at demos, or particularly if someone was like, oh, I could never do it where they're not perfectly the same size, is do knots. Okay, all you're doing for knots, wait for that camera, take a length and around and through. So if you wanted to do a bread roll that, like it's a bread roll as opposed to that, this is perfect because it will hold that topping, that crumble on top, okay? So that's another option if you want to do something a little different with this same beautiful brioche dough. Okay, so I reckon they're 30 centimeters. I said earlier about 35, I reckon 30. Okay, so start with them together. Doesn't need to be perfectly pushed together. Into the middle, into the middle. If you've never plaited, that's okay, it's easy. Except if you're on camera and you get nervous. Into the middle, into the middle, into the middle. I can probably stretch this one over, and now let's tuck them under. Okay, make it do the tuck. The tuck means that in the oven, and as it does this, it's got another prove to do. It doesn't undo. Okay, grab back to this end, pull them apart. Let's see what we're up to. That way, that way, that way, and tuck. Okay, you can see that one's growing already. You see it puffing up as we're waiting. That's the beauty of it. So these have a prove of 15 minutes now. Before it says let them rise for 15 minutes, and then and while that's happening, preheat the oven to 180. Okay, We're going to then come back in a moment in the magic of television in 15 minutes time in instance for you. We're going to egg wash this, put our crumble on and put it in the oven. And then I can't wait to show you the final product. So we'll see you again soon for the next step. See you then. Okay, welcome back. It's actually not been the full 15 minutes. The kids are busting to go to the library and exchange books. So I'm going to get this in the oven so hubby can get it out while we are away and before he's got a meeting. So I was like, all right, what's it been? I'm just going to bring down the timer. Do you use your timer on your TM6 to keep it awake? It's such a great feature. I don't know, you guys can see it on this screen, the main screen. It's still got 8 minutes remaining, so it's actually only approved for about 7-8 minutes anyway. But that's what I did earlier for even the first proof time, is I put the timer on so that it stayed awake because it was over 15 minutes. If it's over 15 minutes, your TM6 goes to sleep. And your TM5 and your TM31, they all go to sleep. But TM31, TM5, you don't have a timer that I know. We used to have a timer on TM5, didn't we? I don't think we do these days. So, yeah, it's a really good way to keep that alive, but also keep track of time. I don't know about you, but I really don't have good perception of time. All right, so I moved it on to, as soon as I got off the camera before with you guys, I moved it onto a rose gold tray from the mix shop. This is the large, I think, with the liner on it. You can see how much they've already grown in that time. And it's not actually a stinking hot day here today. It's a bit humid and sticky because the rain keeps coming through, but I've got to say it's probably only 25 degrees or 26 degrees. So you can see both of them. Now, I also off camera whipped up a egg in here. You could do some melted butter instead. You can, if it's savory, spray it with some olive oil. Okay, that works just as well for getting that beautiful golden top. Being brioche though, it tends to be best with the egg whipped up on top. Go away, fly. Okay, so this on top. Now, if you haven't already and you're cooking along to this video, which I know some of you guys do, remember to preheat your oven at this point in time as well. So you want that at 180. These are going to cook for 20 to 25 minutes. If you did a massive big one, which would be impressive, if you're entertaining this Christmas, I would say do a really big one. Then just plat it into one big massive one. It's going to take a bit longer. It's going to take 40 to 45 rather than the 20 to 25 to cook that much volume of dough. So, all right, so I've filled all that up with yolk. Don't throw this out. If you're not going to use it soon, like you could chuck that into an omelette. There's nothing wrong with it, right? You could chuck it into a cake, a little bit extra egg, and a cake's not going to hurt. You could make a hollandaise sauce with that. Don't throw it out. If you're not sure what you're going to do straight away, chuck it in a ice cube tray. I was like, what word am I after? And just freeze it and just label it so you know what it is and use it later. Now, do you remember at the beginning, we made this crumble mix and I didn't put it in the fridge, as you guys know. So we want to now sprinkle this on, okay? It's butter, it's sugar. By the way, the recipe tells you this, okay? But you guys can't see that because you're watching this way. So this is going to make a really nice crispy top on top. You can see that my butter is congealing back. Now, again, with this mix, don't throw it out. Save it for the next batch, put it in a bag, label it in your freezer so you know what it is. And then it's ready for next time you make more of these, because once you've made one, I can nearly guarantee you will want to make another batch of these. Another batch of this recipe. It's beautiful, okay? Absolutely yummy. But it's also, this is just flour, sugar, and butter. So with the leftover, just, again, put it aside and chuck it into a cake for that little bit that's left over. It's not going to wreck a cake, okay? So don't let it go to waste. Do not chuck that out. Don't throw any ingredients when you've got a Thermomix in the bin, okay? Let's make sure we utilize all of it. All right, just putting that bit of butter up. So just go back to my bookmark and then bake for 20 to 25 minutes, 180 until golden brown, and serve with butter and jam. How yummy is that? Okay, butter or jam, okay? We'll probably just eat it straight. We'll probably just slice it. But I'm going to come back to you one last time. I'm going to show you the final product once I get home and it's cooled a bit. But I hope you'll give these a go. I hope this has given you the confidence to realize that fancy bread is within your reach. You do not need to go spend crazy amounts of money on bakery bread. when you can make it yourself, and it can actually be a really memorable, fun experience. Some of my most fondest memories of it in my childhood was making stuff with my grandma. Okay, so my nana. So, you know, like, make memories. Use the food to make memories. This is something that any age can get hands on with, whether it is your grandma you're cooking with, or whether it's your grandchildren or your children or your husband. You know, it's something you can make a memory with. So have a go at that this festive season, or any time, because it's actually crazy easy when you've got a Thermomix. Anyway, I'll see you soon for the final product. And otherwise, I can't wait to see you all soon. So please do share it with me when you do. So we'll see you soon for the final reveal. See you then. Okay, last video to show you the final product on this. It is amazing. It smells divine. It's just got that butteriness. By the way, see the pre-clean on the dough back there? Amazing. One little tip on the dough pre-clean on a TM6. When you're done, spin it up to speed 10 for 5 seconds. That does this. Wait for that camera. Come on, camera. Does the rest of the bowl and the lid. And then you're good to empty it out, rinse it out, and you're good to put it back in, which is where that's at now. But look at these. Look at that. Does not that look beautiful? Look at that. So this is beautiful. Just like bakery bread, if not better. There's no numbers, additives, preservatives, colors. You can take full ownership that you made this in your Thermomix yourself with those you love. All right, guys, get this recipe happening. Give it a go. Tell me what you think. If that book ever comes available, I would highly suggest getting it, okay? And yeah, and of course, cooked on the rose gold with the tray, just like crispy bottom, delicate top, phenomenal. So get onto this recipe, let me know what you think. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video soon. Remember to share this video. If you've got people around you with a Thermomix on the bench, get this to them so they can make amazing bread and make memories with loved ones. So take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.